Hey everyone, this is Glenn here. In this video, I want to share with you guys how to make seamless posts for Instagram similar to the one shown in the intro. Now the sample in the intro was done as a complimentary post to my previous video on how to design liquid images. I'll share the link to the same in the description and at the end of the video. There are timestamps, so feel free to skip to the desired part. Now we will be using Adobe Photoshop and I'll explain this in two ways. The first one is to create a two-page multi-post for your Instagram photos. The second one is to create a 10-page multi-post just like the one I've shown here and as well as in the intro. So without further ado, let's open Adobe Photoshop and I have it open here and I have my project folder for the 10-page multi-post. Before we dive into this, we'll go to the first session. So just to give a clear basic foundation, as you can see, this is 10 pages long. 10 is because Instagram provides at max 10 multi-posts at a time. So you can see clear distinctions as to where the first post ends. So the width, the basic dimension, portrait dimension for Instagram is 1350 by 1080. That is 1350 is the height and width is 1080. But landscape photos usually comes with a height of 1080. So we'll keep the height as 1080 and the width as 1080 times the number of posts. So we'll create file, go to new, we'll keep it as custom and then we'll keep the height as 1080 and the width as, we need a two-page multi-post, that is 1080 times 2, which is 2160. Alright, now let's keep the resolution a bit high, 700 or 600. That increases the clarity as well as the size of the file. Now we have to keep the color mode as RGB because that's for digital devices. If you're planning to print it, then keep it at CMYK. So let's keep it at RGB and let's click OK. So now here we have our canvas. Now we need a clear distinction to mark where the first post ends and the second post starts. So choose a slice tool. In case this is not a default tool, suppose it can be crop tool. Right click on your tool and then choose the slice tool. Now come to your canvas, right click on the canvas and divide the slice. Now I have kept it at 2. By default it will come in this way where none of the options are checked. Click on divide vertically into and choose 2 because we need to divide into 2 and click OK. So now we have clear distinctions as to where the first post and the second post is. Now all we have to do is open our image. So go to file, click open and our image is right here, volley. Let's open it. Now to bring our image to our canvas, select the selection tool, click and drag it to our canvas. So there we are. Now there are white spaces on both sides. That's because this image dimension is 1080 by 1920, which is the preferred landscape dimension. But to make a seamless post, we have 2 pages long, which is 1080 times 2, 2160. So we'll have to resize this. So let's move the image to an end and then click on Ctrl T. So we get these highlighted corners. Just click and drag. So now one thing that you need to know is now we will lose the proportion if we do that. So just undo the resizing. So click Ctrl Z and we are back to where we started. Now with the selection tool highlighted, what we're going to do is we're going to click and hold Shift key, press the Shift key and then drag it so that the proportion remains the same. Once resizing is done, click Enter. And there we go, there's our image. It's a bit to the left, alright. Now all we have to do is save it in such a way it gets sliced perfectly in at the center. So now we'll go to File, click on Save for Web and save it as it is. Let's save it as Seamless Volley and save. And let's go to the desktop and see the folder named Images. Open Images and we have Seamless Volley 1 and seamless volley too. So the image has been perfectly sliced along the center. So that's the main part. All we now have to do is copy the image to our device and then do a multi-post. Give me a minute so that I can copy it to the device. All we have to do now is open Instagram and then go to your profile, choose the add or post option, and then choose the photos from your gallery. What we'll do is we can see the photos in the gallery and then choose the multi-post option and then choose the photos in the right order and then click next and then next, or you could see if it's in the right order or not. Apply the decide effects and then click next, add your caption and then click share, and that's it. Now if you go to your profile, you can see the image right there as a seamless post. That's pretty much it. We follow the same procedure for doing the 10-page multi-post. Alright, now in the second session, I'm going to explain how I did a 10-page multi-post just like this one. So as you can see, it's 10 pages long. Now to zoom in and out, you can press and hold the Alt key and scroll your mouse. Alright, now as you can see, this is 10 pages long and there are clear distinctions as to where each page ends. Now here I have the height as 1350 by 1080. That's because here I don't have the restriction of a photo where the default height is 1080 for a landscape photo. So I'm keeping it at 1350 and the width is 1080 for the first post, 1080 the second, 1080 the third. And since it's 10 pages long, the entire width of the canvas is 1080 times 10. So I'm going to create a similar canvas. Let's close these ones since I won't be using it anymore. Now let's create a new canvas. File, new. The height is 1350 for the portrait dimension and the width is 1080 times 10, that is 10800. Let's keep the resolution high, 700, RGB color. So the higher the resolution, the better the clarity. Also the higher the image size. So you could go with 500, 500 is fine. And let's confirm the width is 10800, 1080 times 10, alright. Let's click OK. And here I have the 10 pages long. Now I need to make clear distinctions as to where each post are. So click on the slice tool, then again if it's crop tool, right click, click the slice tool, right click on your canvas, divide slice and divide it into 10. That's it, just type 10 there. So now we have clear distinctions as to where each post are. Click on the selection tool. Now let's compare with this one. So here the first post is an image. Now this is designing a liquid image. I'll leave the link to the video so that I can save your time. Basically, for those who know how to do it, it's just the liquify effect under the filter option. For the time being, I have the image saved in the desktop. So file, open, fluid, open. Now to drag this image to our canvas, keep the selection tool, click and drag it to our canvas, bring it here. I need to zoom in, so use the Alt key and scroll your mouse. Alright, now let's resize it to the desired position. You can use the arrow keys to adjust. Resizing using Ctrl T, press and hold the Shift key and drag it a little. And use the arrow keys again. Press enter once you're happy with it. Now we need to give the headings as design liquid images. So as you can see, if you right click on the image, it shows which layer it is. Now I'm going to type on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the type tool and click here and type design. Alright, click the selection tool. It's in black, I need it in white. Use the type tool again. Now bring it here and select our design name. Alright, and let's go to the properties. The properties is right here. Now the default font I use is Roboto. It's a great font. I love the font. You can increase the size to 72. That's a bit too much. Let's give it 30 and let's change the color to white. Alright, now it's not visible but it's still there. Bring it to here. Okay, I can resize it by Control T, press and hold the Shift key, bring it down. Alright, design. Now that looks nice. Enter to get rid of that selection. Now I have to type liquid images. So I'm using the type tool again and I'm gonna type liquid images. Select it. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna reduce the size. So let's keep it at 10. Alright. Now to give it a bit more professional touch, all we have to do, well, you can do many things, but what I'm gonna do is select it and increase the width between each letter. Though the effect is small, it does have a well, the little things matter, so the small effect will be visible once it comes on a big screen. Control T to resize it, press and hold Shift key and enter. So that's design liquid images, and that's our first one. So there might be a small variations because I don't remember the exact value which I used, but you could play around. Now what we're going to do is we need the Photoshop icon, and that comes in the second post. And what I usually use is the free websites like Pixabay and Pexels. So I'll just go to the website and search the icon, Photoshop icon, Adobe Photoshop icon, and I got this one, and it has no copyright issues. So because it's free, so those provides free photos as well as you can get paid photos from the same. Now I have the image saved in my desktop. Go to File, Open, and the Photoshop icon, Open. Now to bring it to a canvas, keep the selection tool and then click and drag it to your canvas. Alright, now it's a bit too big, so we have to resize. Control T, press and hold the Shift key, bring it down. Oh, I lost the alright, I lost the proportion right there. Right. Press and hold the Shift key and then bring it down. Now to perfectly centrally align this, what I use is the rulers. I have to press enter. Now the rulers already present, so to keep the rulers highlighted. If you want any menu in Photoshop or most of your softwares to get the desired window, you can use the view and then go to rulers. I have rulers here, so I'm gonna click and drag from the ruler, so I'll get an highlighted line. Now I'm gonna similarly click and drag from this end and I get another highlighted line, so it perfectly matches. So now I can center this one. You could select a perfect layer, so as you can see, that's a beauty of layers. Right, now to select this layer, you could right click on it and click layer 2, or you can directly go here. You can even rename the layers. So now I have to highlight it, press Ctrl T again so that I get this highlighted marks, and I can see it's perfectly aligned. I could make it a bit small if I want, and that's it. Press enter. And similarly, we type the remaining, open Adobe Photoshop using the text tool. I'm not typing it again because the steps are repetitive and I'm sure you guys can follow along. Now to make third post, all we have to do is to take a screenshot and then paste it as an image. Now this is an overlapping another image, so I'll show you how it's done. And then the remaining process is pretty much repetitive and you can follow along. Making this short because it will consume more time than it's supposed to. Now here I'm trying to show that we are opening a new canvas, so I'm going to File, going on New. So go to File, go to New. Now if I'm to select Snipping tool, it tends to close this menu option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the print screen on the keyboard. I'll go to Paint, open Paint, and then paste the image. So I have File, New here. Now save the image in the desktop as File, Open, and then save it. Alright, now I'll open the image, go to File, Open. Now I have the image saved in the desktop as File, Open. Open the image. Now I don't need the entire selection, so I'll choose the selection tool, rectangular selection tool. It can be elliptical, but we need rectangular. and then choose the decide section. So I'm keeping it a bit like this so that it's a bit more interesting. Click on the selection tool, click and drag it to our canvas. Alright, now this is how we have it here. We have to increase the size, so Ctrl T, press and hold the shift key, bring it, scale it up, and then leave it there. Now let's zoom in. Now as you can see, there's slight imperfections here and here. I can remove it using the same rectangular selection tool. As you can see, this is our new layer. Keep it selected. Now click and drag to the desired end and press the delete button. Do the same to this end so that it looks nice. Delete, that's gone. Now to keep the background shadow, as you can see here, all we have to do is keep the layer selected, go to the drop shadow effect. So we go down here, click the drop shadow, and now you can pretty much control the direction and the distance. Let's keep it at 10, 0 and then 20. You can play around with the tools. As you can see, we have a nice shadow here. Click OK. So now we have this picture. The next one is to create the next open window. Alright, so go to File, it's new, and this is the window that I'm talking about. Now what I could do is I could do the same method, or I could use a snipping tool, which is way easier in this case. So snipping tool, open snipping tool, click new, and then choose the desired part. Now we don't even have to save this image, you can just copy it. Press Ctrl C, come to Photoshop, and then close this one and Ctrl V. So we have the image over here. Now as you can see, by default it is coming on the top of the previous one. That trick is on the layers. Now let's scale this up. Ctrl T, press and hold shift, scale it up, press enter. That's it. Now to give the drop shadow effect, you can do the same thing. Go to drop shadow, choose the direction and give the values as the values you prefer. Keep it at this one. Now if you want this picture to go beneath the other one, you can just bring down the layer beneath layer 3. So this image goes beneath the other one. And to bring it up top, bring it to top of this layer 3. To know which is which layer, so right click layer 3, right click on the decide image, and that's layer 4. You can choose layers in such a way. Now the remaining is pretty much the same procedure. You can open the desired folders and then take a screenshot. So these are the stages involved in creating a liquid image. I'll leave the link so I won't have to explain the entire thing and take much time than it has already taken. Well, I'll explain how to create a rectangular canvas like this. Maybe it might be a bit troublesome for a few people. For those who are way ahead of the game, it's fine, totally fine. You can leave this part. Now to create a blank empty canvas, what I could do is, now I have to make sure the dimensions are right. So I could just draw a rectangular box, but I have to keep the dimensions right. So what I'm going to do now is, what I usually do is, I'll open file, a new canvas, and then I'll keep the height as the decide one, 1350 and 1080 with a resolution of 700, doesn't matter actually. Click OK. I have this one here. Click the selection tool, bring it to our canvas right here. Well, it's actually right here. You can see a new layer formed. To differentiate it, go to drop shadow and provide the drop shadow. And provide the drop shadow. Now the size is a bit too much, so Ctrl T, resize it to the desired size so that proportion remains same, and press enter. Alright, if you come here, it's the same repetitive process. All we have to do now is just save it as a multi-post. So I could go here, but since this project folder is complete, go to file, it's the same process, save for web. And then save the image. Just save it. Alright, give it a minute. Let's go to the desktop, and it's saved in images. You can see the 10 posts, 1 to 10. All we have to do now is copy this into our device and post it on Instagram. We follow the same procedure for doing the 10-page multi-post. That's pretty much it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful, resourceful. It might be basic for few people, but it might be intriguing for the others. So if it did put a smile on your face, if it helped you, give a like, a share, and subscribe. No pressure. But if there's something that you wish to share with the world, your talent, if you can add value, do the same. Share it with the world. Nothing else ever matters. So have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.